Good morning, everybody. How are we? Let me just close my door here. All right. How's everybody doing? I'm going to do some sharing here. And we will get George on. There's going to be another guest with us along with George, I believe. So, good morning, Mike. And good morning. I think it's Tim, and I see Cindy on there too. So, good morning to all of you. Let me share this. Hey, Chaz, how are you? Come on. What's everybody up to this morning? All right, let's get... Okay, George. Good morning, George. Now it says I can't add you. Of course it does. I flipped on my thing saying that you can request to join. So if that's the case, if you can do that, request to join, that would be great. As always, we'll get it figured out. Bear with us, people. Hey, Bart, how are you? Tim, what would it be without a little glitch, right? We'll get George on here because we did this morning already. So George, at the bottom of your screen, you should be able, there's little icons. I think you should be, thank you, Foam Stars. I appreciate it. Huh. Come on. Are your settings on public? The request to join. I wonder if you're going to have to switch to your phone, George. I know we tried it with the iPad, so maybe it will have to be your phone, which is fine. So while we're doing this, how about if everybody tells me what you're drinking in your cup? What do you got going on? I've got some lovely dark roast in mine. Hey, Chris, how are you? We'll get it rolling, people. We'll get it rolling. It always takes a few minutes. One day I'll host the... Mike, one day will be maybe next week. It's weird because we did the test and of course it worked. Oh, George, why can't I add you? Hang on, you guys. We'll get going here. Joseph Conroy, how are you? He'll have to clear out all his swag. I've been seeing so much swag in the last, 3 or 4 days. There has been some major swag going out. It all looks awesome. It all looks so good. Just bear with us, people. We'll get him on here. George. Hi, Kerwin. How are you? So in the meantime, while we're waiting, I'll just do a little plug and say, if any of you, it has been very swaggering, Bart. George, why can't we add you? I think you're going to have to switch to your phone rather than your iPad, maybe. Hi, Shane. If anybody wants to come on to this very professional production of A Coffee with Carla, please let me know. And we'll have you on. As you all know, we will always get through the hurdles. You printed almost 1,000 shirts last week, Mike? Oh my word. That's a lot of shirts. Yeah, Shane, he's a busy guy. He'll have to he'll have to get like a headset so he can be a multitasker maybe. Come on, we're gonna figure this out. Hi, Steve. How are you? Yeah, you, Mike. Foam Stars. Jason, good morning. Well, all is good. It'll be even better when we can get George on here, which we will. Which we will. It's always there's always something that happens here. I don't want to stop it and start again. I think it's just we tried it with an iPad, maybe that's why it's not working. So so for anybody who's going to watch this in the future, the people who aren't watching, skip this first part till you see George on here. How did everybody's week go? What has been happening with everybody? Hey, Josh. Oh, if you're trying to get a hold of Mike, you got to call him through Messenger. So try and call him through Messenger. George who? George McKinney. We're trying to get him on, but he's not. I can see him, but I can't add him. What else can we try? So public settings. Try it from your phone. There should be an icon at the bottom that you can invite your request to be invited. When is ICAA, Josh? Yeah, it's not working with the phone either. Why is that? Or your settings are on public, George? Hi, Scott. You glad you could make it to this through this technical difficulties? A green icon at the bottom, George, of your phone. Hopefully that'll work. Josh, when is ICAA? It's coming up right away, isn't it? Is it this week? There he is. See, you guys? This works. Eventually. We'll get him added on. There he is. Hello.
And believe it or not, it's actually working on the iPad.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
It's just, for some reason, it wasn't coming through with the phone either, so we were running into glitches.
Yeah, sometimes it has, as we all know, technical difficulties. And what a time to have that when we've got another guest who is used to a much more professional production.
Oh, there you go. Great. Now I feel like, yeah.
Thank you for bearing with us. So why don't you introduce yourself, George, and introduce the gentleman sitting with you, and we'll get started.
Well, my name is George McKinney, and this is Wayne Varley, formerly from the Street Outlaws, that have come in and joined. We're really close friends, and we get involved and stuff. He can tell you a little bit about himself. Yeah, Wayne Varley. I'm an automotive repair shop here in Oklahoma City. We build race cars. I just do regular stuff also. George has been my friend for a couple of years. Kind of getting some training on his side of the business so we can go out together and go to some of these sprays and meets.
Oh, that's cool. So you guys how long have you guys been working together?
Oh, we've known a couple of years now. We've known
Years.
each other. Crazy hired me on about 4 years ago, and I come out here and opened up under Crazy their office here in their location. So it's not a bad location. It's great. I like Oklahoma. Central America. Yep, Central America. And then I met Wayne one day and at a birthday party for a friend. Yeah, and we just became good friends after that.
Oh, very cool. So, George, you and I talked yesterday, and you said you've been in the industry for how long? Since '97? Was that the right year?
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into the industry in 1997. My father and myself used to do a lot of drywall and fiberglass insulation. Well, we lost a couple houses to somebody doing spray foam. And it's like, wait a minute, these are my normal contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, what are we going to do about this? And next thing I know, my dad comes rolling in with a spray foam machine. Actually, it was a Dynex bedliner machine on a flatbed trailer. And he
Yeah.
says, "We're in the spray foam."
Oh, really? That's how it started.
That's how it started.
Oh, funny.
And at that time in '97, I didn't have anybody to be able to train me. We had to learn on our own and figure it out and see what happens. And we got into it. I got good at it, and that's where we stayed. We stayed spraying for many years.
Wow. That's interesting. So yeah, it's oh, Tim's saying he can't hear you very good. So maybe if you guys maybe can move a little bit closer to the to your iPad. That way we can
Yeah.
hear you better.
How's that? Any better?
Is it hopefully it's better. I can hear you, but yeah, well we'll just keep going and if it does we'll adjust as we go.
Uh,
So you guys
my
pretty much trained yourselves.
Pretty much, yeah. I did have some help and some big names and through BASF years ago that as we got into spray foam, we had to buy materials, and all of a sudden people, once they started hearing about me, started contacting me from Wapola and BASF and a few others. An old company used to be called Foam Enterprises out of New York. A couple good big names in there helped me out, and we got started, and we just took off from there. My company name was actually High-R Foam Enterprises, HI-RFOAM.
Did you have is do you have a son that's on LinkedIn or is that you then?
Um, I do have a son that's possibly on LinkedIn, but I'm also on there too. I am on LinkedIn,
Is
and it
he
does show
are you junior or is he junior?
I'm junior.
You're junior. Okay, because I was like, I don't know if that's him or not. So I didn't tag you last night. I will tag you going forward though.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's me.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple LinkedIn accounts. I'm trying to get them all put together and keep one, but
Right. So
I'm very passionate.
yeah, you are. We talked yesterday and you were on the road. You were coming back from where?
Down in Texas.
Down in Texas, right. So you travel and do tech support and different things as well.
Yes, I do. I've been all over the country. Thanks to Crazy, I've seen every state except for Hawaii and Alaska. I've
Oh,
been to the Bahamas. I've been to British Columbia and both ends of Canada. So I've been around quite a bit.
oh,
They're
good.
still looking. Like, yeah, they're still looking for
Yeah.
me.
Um, so you guys started spraying in 90s back in those earlier years, and then how did Spray Easy how did it come to be?
Crazy. I had some traumatic stuff happen in my life back in New York, and kind of don't want to get into that too much, but I decided to get out of the business,
Okay.
and I started out. Um, I currently kept the name because I like the name. It's an unusual name.
Mm-hmm.
And I answered an ad one day, worked, this phrase he had, and moved to Florida and went to work for him.
Mm,
And it's been a good time. It really has. It's been
right.
good. They asked me to move out here to Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
out here and help them out and get opened up here, and they've been here for I think 4 years now.
Okay.
So, and that's it. And I've been here on and off. There's a couple times I've taken some vacation and some relaxation time, and went back up to New York to visit, and back out here. That's about it. I mean, it's been a good stretch.
Yeah. So
So,
what is everything that your company does, George? Like what all do you do, just so people know?
Crazy sells all kinds of equipment.
Okay.
So Graco, PMC. Um, we repair a lot of equipment here, and it doesn't matter what you bring in. If it's a spray rig, we take care of it. I've done everything from Boss, like I said, Graco, PMC, our own machines. We have our own line. We service everything. We
Mm-hmm.
sell foam. So basically, we are a one-stop shop.
Oh, okay.
If you come in, you want to buy a spray foam machine, we'll sell you a spray foam machine. We'll sell you all the equipment. Um, we assist you in some of the training. We don't certify anybody. For getting certifications, the current suppliers that we work with, they actually will come out and certify the customer.
Right.
And so we just train people how to use the equipment.
Okay.
And that's
Okay. And so do you deal with us like all of the US, or are you specifically into a certain territory?
Um, that one's hard to answer. I'm going to say, yeah, we deal with a complete U.S.,
Oh, okay.
Canada. So, like I said, Costa Rica, the Bahamas. Our company's gone all over the country. And I'm not going to say all over the world yet, but they've been around quite a bit.
Right. So how many people work? How big is the company?
Company has two locations. The
Okay.
home office is in Florida, and then we have the secondary office here in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Got it.
yeah, I think there's approximately 25 or 30 people that work for the company.
Oh, okay. Got it. And so is it a majority of your time traveling, or are you in like where you are now?
It's kind of a toss-up. It depends on the need, because I do a lot of traveling, but yet I'm
Mhm.
home quite a bit. So it's really hard to say. I just do what the company needs me to do.
Right.
I might be here running the office for a week or so, and then I might be on the road for a couple of weeks.
Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's all cool, but it comes and goes. You never know what's going on, where I gotta be.
Right. And so I guess how did you two get connected in what you're doing now?
Right now, Sprazy sponsors Wayne.
Hmm.
They understand that a lot of spray foam guys out there enjoy drag racing. They enjoyed the TV show, the Street Outlaws, and stuff like that. And so Wayne's a consultant slash, it's the term that we were going to use, idiot. you know, you know, you never know. He's gonna go around to events and stuff, and help us out. He's learning about the spray foam industry, so he's
Yeah.
gonna understand what's going on.
Hmm.
In turn, to me about drag racing.
That's really cool how those two are combined. So, Street Outlaws has been on for how long?
13, 14 seasons now, something like that.
Wow. Okay. I was Googling it. I was looking it up last night because we don't have TV, but I mean, I was trying to get a little bit of background on it. But yeah, it's been on that long. Holy smokes. That's a long time.
Yeah, it has, and it's an awesome show. But he knows more about it than I do. I'm so busy, I don't pay a lot of attention to it. But
Right.
some of the episodes, especially the ones that he's in. Yeah, well, I did one uh, one of my own shows called Main Streets 405.
Oh, okay.
You can go on YouTube, is it? Yep. Yeah, you can go on YouTube, and those are all the original people I used to race with back in the day before the movie started. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they're pretty cool. So check them out if you want. I've got to meet a few of them, and we decided, and the owners of Crazy decided that Wayne would be a good spokesperson to bring along. Boy, are they wrong. Maybe you want me to speak for you? So yeah, and Swayze's name will be on his car, and we're gonna go around to events and stuff like that, and make appearances, and Swayze's come a long way, and they've got a lot of good stuff that's going to be happening soon, and I'm proud to work for this company. I really am.
Hmm.
The owners are great people. You know, there's nothing I can really say bad. It's kind
Hmm.
of like a big. It is.
Mm.
They are family, and they bring you in, and they treat you like family.
Oh,
You know.
yeah, it's not often you get that kind of dynamic for sure. And when you find it, that's a kind of like a unicorn, really, is to be able to find something like that, to be able to work with people like that. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Man,
so how often would you say that you're on the road? Like I'm always curious about you guys that are traveling for your work, because it's hard. You have to be away from your family. So how often would you say that you travel in a year?
so
I know it varies, but it's quite a bit.
yeah, it's quite a bit. I have literally seen last year the East Coast and the West Coast twice within a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Driving back and forth, hauling trailers across the United States.
Yeah.
And, I've gone from Florida to Washington, then back to Florida, back to California, back to Florida, and then back to Oklahoma.
Hmm.
I mean, I actually have to stop and do oil changes on the truck because I'm on the road so often.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm going to say 50% of the time I'm on the road.
You're on the road.
Yeah, I'm back here.
And you're married. How many kids oh, you're not married?
Yep, no, I'm divorced.
Oh, okay. How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4 kids, grown.
Yep. My youngest is 20 years old.
Yeah.
And oldest is 38.
Really? Holy smokes. You must have been a very young young dad. You don't look like you're old enough to have a 38-year-old.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started in my early 20s.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, what else I wanted to ask you? So now it's left my brain, but that's not unusual for me.
Drink some more coffee.
Yeah, I need more coffee. What? um, what was I going to ask
Caramel
you?
macchiato.
Very nice. Very nice. Get that sugar in there too, right? So,
Yep.
what would you say would be some of the biggest challenges you've had in the industry so far? Just in business or just in general? What would be the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenges I would say right now is every time we come into winter, a lot of things change.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to spray. There's a lot of problems. A lot of people don't understand that they really got to keep their materials warm and manufacture specs to be able to spray it right.
Mm-hmm.
So walking a lot of people through these troubled areas makes it really tough because they get mad at you.
Right.
Because, and they just don't understand, the spray foam gets as thick as molasses, especially up in the North Country.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how warm you really got to keep it. Not just for an hour or so. But the problem is a lot of them won't educate themselves on that. They just expect it to be the same year round, and it can't be, But when it gets colder, stuff thickens up, Right. And I've already run into some issues with it now. I mean, we're down here in the South, and material that's too cold going into any one of the machines, it doesn't make a difference if manufacturer, their machines can only heat that product up so much to get it to come out right. And a lot of people aren't understanding that. Every cent that they make is a profit in their pocket. If they don't do the proper procedures, they're not going to make any money. They're not going to get the coverages that they need to get. The manufacturers come up with specifications for a reason.
Right.
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Then when one thing goes wrong, a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong.
Yeah, right. So I guess that would kind of enter into, how did you get involved with Spray Foam Worldwide? How did you find them?
I stumbled in. I forget the gentleman's name that we got involved with Spray Foam Worldwide. I just got Facebook one day, and somebody suggested I might like that site, so I jumped onto it. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And I've been following it since. I try not to say much on there, but I just see what everybody else has got to say and see all the interesting stuff, and I leave it at that.
Yes, there is some interesting stuff that goes on in there.
Yeah, sure.
It's I think it makes it, that group can help you guys as well, because you can reach so many people and you can help them just by if somebody's got a question, you can help them so fast.
Yep, and I don't mind doing that once in a while. I did try one time, and there was a couple of critics that got on there and kind of said stuff. So I just, instead of getting in and saying anything, I just left it alone and said, okay, go ahead and do that. We'll see where it goes.
Right.
Later on down, things didn't work out as well as they thought it was, and I just left it alone. And I'm like, all right, I don't argue with people.
Yeah.
I've done a lot in my life. I'm not saying everything that I've done under spray foam is the correct way of doing things, but I do know some things that do work. Yes. And I try to put people in the right direction that are based off my experiences and what I've done. But I've already made those mistakes, and I try to get you not to do the same mistake.
Right.
There are many examples. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people like to do is boil their guns in antifreeze.
Ah.
If it's done properly, controls temperatures and everything, you might all be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's done properly, and that's usually the way it goes, it damages your $2,500 gun, and everybody gets upset because they're not following either Graco or PMC or their manufacturer's way of cleaning the gun. They try to do it the cheap, easy way, and then they get upset. And then when you try to make a comment on it, everybody else comes after you. Well, it's worked for me for 10 years. But that just means you did it right.
Right.
The next person didn't, and it got messed up,
Right.
And that's what I deal with a lot of, so I just chose not to speak out about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough sometimes too, because you get in those group situations, like there is so many opinions and so many, it can get kind of tricky in there sometimes, for sure. But I think for the most part, I think it's been such a good place for everybody to kind of like come together and really learn from each other, mistakes and, otherwise. So,
And that's what I really like,
mm-hmm.
is that spray foamers all need to come together.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah.
They're all out manufacturing a product. Okay, they have to have their own QA, QI to make sure they're doing the proper job.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking an A product, a B product, you're taking a machine and heating it up and compressing it and atomizing it out of a gun, and you're making spray foam. Okay? You as an installer, you're not an installer, you're actually a manufacturer. The man behind the gun really needs to understand what he's doing and putting down the proper mix and watching the foam every single day.
Yeah, because it'll get really expensive if you're not watching.
Right. A good sprayer will make you or break you in a heartbeat. Maintaining your equipment, making sure that it's up and running properly. Clean. And I mean really clean. I get machines in here all the time that look like they've been, and they're only a year old, and they've been run through the mill.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they're not, I teach everybody to clean their guns every day. Yeah. I've got guys out there, I don't clean my gun once every 6 months. But those guys are lucky that nothing's happened yet.
Right.
They get away with it. But when it does happen, it comes apart. And your coverage is lost. It's lost. Everything's lost, and they're down 4 or 5 hours trying to fix a gun that if they cleaned every single day, they wouldn't have that problem.
Right. So that would be some of the things, like when you're teaching them those things which don't seem like a big deal are probably the most important thing you should know in the beginning, right?
Exactly. That's what
We stress, you got to keep your guns clean. But people, they're tired, they want to go home, they throw it in a bucket of water, and they think that's going to take care of it. It ain't going to take care of it.
Right.
That gun's worth a lot of money to you. Not only what you pay for, but your business too.
Right.
Because when it starts messing up, you start getting bad coverage, you're losing money.
Yeah.
And that's the game. And one of the biggest things that upsets me too is that each one of these foam companies, instead of working together with each other and keeping the pricing where it needs to be, they're always undercutting each other. Well, this guy, I'll do it $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 less. They don't realize what they're doing to the industry. They're hurting it. They're not, consistent. And that's it. And they need to be more consistent. I know everybody needs to work, but in the spray foam industry, there's so much work out there for everybody. There's not enough spray foamers to take care of all of it.
Right.
They pretty much mastered the liquid you spray. It's the person spraying it that's the weak link in the whole situation.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Because it'll make you or break you. A lot of people complain, oh, I didn't get the coverage out of it. He goes over there and checks the gun. Well, here you go.
Yep.
You know, you should have cleaned this thing like we were telling you in the beginning. You know, and there's so much to learn. It's hard to learn it all in 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, George likes to stress the gun is to make you or break you. It's going to make you the money or it's going to take it from you. So,
And the same with the temperatures of the material going into the machines. You know, you've got to raise those temperatures up so the machine works easier, not as hard. It's less wear and tear on your machine if the material's going in warmer. The viscosity of the A and the B, you know, you've got two different materials that are thicker, one's thicker than the other. So you got to bring those viscosity levels. And by doing that and raising them up and thinning them out, you know, the B side a lot of times can be like molasses, real thick. The A side, depending on the manufacturer of the A, that also can be thick. But your machines can be reading off in pressures just because the amount of heat that's in the machine or in the drums going to the machine. So if the material's not warm enough, the machine's delta T is only allowing it to raise it up like 50 degrees. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if you got material that's in the drums at 50 degrees, the machine only brings it up another 50. Even though it says it can do more than that, it can't. And you won't get the proper yields. It messes up your whole system. It really does.
Right.
There's a real science behind all this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's a lot of people who think they can just jump into this business and it's like they're just going to make all this money, and it's not. It's far from the truth.
it's a big learning curve, and they have to study what they want to do
Yeah.
and understand. Because if not, it'll get real tricky for them.
Yes, very tricky and fast. And, you know, one thing that I pride myself on here is anybody that I teach about this business, you know, it's not only the equipment that you buy, it's all the added stuff that you have to add in after you buy a spray foam machine. You know, I let them know about all this stuff, you know, the little tiny tools and, you know, ladders and planks and fans and, you know, et cetera, that all have to be added in.
Right.
It's not buy a spray foam machine and go spray.
Right.
And that's what they try to do. They buy the rig and off they go, and they're spraying and going, hey, I didn't get the coverage I was supposed to get. Well, yeah, you know, you need to learn more about what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people just think, we'll tell you. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it's always interesting because when you see that pop up in the group, somebody will come on and say, I really want to start, you know, get a rig, and they want to get going, and people are like, don't do it. And everybody's like, goes against it. But it's one of those things that I think people see, they feel like it's the money first rather than like what you both are saying. It's, you got to do your research. You got to know what you're doing. You know, you've got to really dig into it. You can't just jump in.
Well, people think just, oh, we're just spraying like paint. No, it's very, and there's a lot of technicality to it. And it's not right for the cost of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's industry, not just, you know, the one person, because that's how the bad names get out there, is by somebody just jumping in. And a lot of it, it's not so much people buying protocol. Yeah. They don't follow protocol, but it's also not just the people buying brand new rigs. There's a lot of used rigs that people go out and buy, and that's where they get themselves in trouble more than buying from any of one of the companies.
Because they will wear out.
They wear out. The other people weren't successful in it, and they're not going to tell the people that they're selling the rigs to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So quite often I get used rigs in here that I have to rebuild and fix because these people bought it from somebody else. And then they're telling me these sad stories that, oh, well, we told it was easy to do. And it was this. And that's part of the industry that a lot of people aren't seeing right now.
It's pretty technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I discourage people from buying a used rig out there right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I don't care who the manufacturer of the rig is. I'd rather see you buy a brand new rig and start right off the bat and learn from the pros that are out here. There's a lot of people out here that will put you in the right direction.
Right. So would you say it's if somebody did what so that's one thing that you can say to somebody that's going to get started. What else would you suggest to them or tell them that they need to do?
Really do your homework.
Yeah. It's all about learning.
And ask the proper people. And Spray Foam Worldwide is really the best place to get a lot of good information.
Right.
Um, get on there. Don't follow everything on YouTube because there's a lot of bad stories on there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
People put out there.
and as long as they do their homework, they'll be successful.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big growing industry. It's just going to keep getting bigger.
Yes. Yeah, like we were talking yesterday about, back in 97, I mean, you guys were, and before 97, obviously, but you guys were fighting more of I think it's a bit of an uphill battle just getting people educated about this industry, like the consumer, the homeowners or the people, with commercial projects and stuff, getting them to understand why this is the better choice. And it's really, in 97, I can only imagine what it was like as compared to now.
They've been pioneers then. You know what I mean? They've been there for a few years, but it wasn't perfected. And right now it can be done to perfection, but you have to do your homework.
Right.
And how I learned how to do all this back then is a lot of the building code officials had no idea about spray foam.
Yeah.
I literally had I had some good friends at BASF that had been in the spray foam industry for multiple years and in the manufacturing and stuff of it, and they actually helped me go and talk to the building officials and educate them. So by me learning about that and doing my homework and educating building inspectors, it got me to do my job easier on all the homes that we were spraying, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They had no clue what it was about. They still believed that you had to ventilate everything. You had to have moisture barriers and you had to have certain things work a certain way and the house had to breathe, and they just didn't understand how good the spray foam was.
And it's getting better.
It's getting better because a lot of the building officials are learning.
Right.
The information is getting out there now, where before it wasn't there. It was an education process for everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they see a guy with a spray gun spraying stuff on a wall. They're like, I can do that. I'm getting into it. And there's a lot of technical stuff to it,
Oh, very technical. And it is, we've seen the pictures of people who think they can do it. I at one time I was able to go down and I was at SPI and I actually got to go and try to do my little spray. Poor Jeremy and Benji, but I managed to do a little panel, but I'm telling you, it's not as easy as everybody makes it look.
Yeah, well, there's an art to it.
Yeah.
There is an art to it. It is very much an art. Yes.
I'm embarrassed to say it, but as many years as I've been doing it, there's actually now a lot of guys out there that spray foam better than me now. I haven't sprayed a lot of big jobs in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so impressed with the artists that are out there now that they make this stuff look like glass.
Yeah.
They're incredible. Good.
Michelangelo's of the spray gun.
That's right.
Yeah. I used to be able to lay it down really nice, but in my old age and my arthritis, it's not working as well. Not holding the gun every day like I used to.
Yeah.
And these are incredible. And a couple people I trained the other day on their equipment when I was down in Texas. One guy couldn't spray. You could see. He just couldn't get the rhythm down.
Mm-hmm.
Another first time ever picking the gun up, lays it down almost as good as somebody who's been doing it for 6 months, 8 months. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. The guy is just unbelievable. He was natural at it.
Yeah.
But there's a hidden story to all that too. In learning how to spray foam, they have to understand the building science and how to spray a building properly. All the nooks and crannies and cracks and sealing it properly. That's the other thing that a good sprayer has to know.
Right.
Not to make it look pretty, but to make it work and function. Yeah, that's where they have to really be. Making it look pretty, that just is one thing. But spraying it is another.
That's, and that's something that I think needs to be talked about more too, is the building science aspect of it, because it is incredibly important to know that stuff.
It is. They need to know the dew points. They need to know everything there is about building science. So when they're going in and spraying, if there's a question that pops up,
Hmm.
they need to be able to answer that. And that's going to make them a better sprayer. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of classes out there actually offering building science. I mean, there are a few, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. A lot of people should be encouraged to doing that and getting into those classes. The SPFA, there's that big course that they teach that everybody gets in and becomes certified. There's reasons that they ask all these steps that you have to go through before you become an expert or a project engineer or whatever their top class is. I'm not sure what it's called anymore.
Hmm.
You go through all those steps to learn. They teach you some about the building science and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I know Shauna Henderson, and I'm just trying to remember the name of her company, but she does she does have her company. I want to say it's called Blue House, or I'll have to look it up and I'll throw a link in here in the bottom after we're done. But she does, I know her company offers online courses about building science. And, you
Yeah,
know, we really should try and get her on here, because I think it's like we were saying, people need to know that they can't, you can go in and you can do a job, but you need to know behind what it's going to do to that home or that building, to make it work properly. Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got to join science and artwork together.
Yeah.
yeah.
For the spraying, you spray it wrong, they're gonna be like, you're gonna tear that down, start over, you know?
Here just the other day, I had a guy call me up and say that the spray foam wasn't sticking to the wall.
Yeah, you see that sometimes. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of factors in that. And what I try to teach people is that your spray foam machine needs to be dialed in daily to your materials, to the atmospheric, conditions, your dew points. If you're spraying in high humidity, guy calls me up and says, my foam's popping right off the wall. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
He's spraying in 90% humidity. It was almost ready to rain. It was just sticky and the wood was sweating. And when the foam popped off, you could see these little hairs coming off of it where the foam tried to stick, but there was so much moisture into the wood, it just popped off. Same with a metal building. Gentlemen try to spray a metal building on a rainy day because they got to get it done.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Mm.
Get away with it once in a while, but on a rainy day, you're not going to be able to spray. And these people don't understand that, your conditions for spray foam, they have to be good.
Right.
They try to spray over wet wood, um, dirty, oily, greasy materials. Everything needs to be tested. Yeah, it is. Some places need to be primed before they're actually spray foamed. There a while back, they were using a waxy coating and processing their wood so it wouldn't rot out. It would,
Right.
you would get moisture and stuff into it, right? Well, you spray foam on it, that wax would actually let the foam pop off and wouldn't adhere to the wood.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people didn't understand that in a certain area. They thought the spray foamers were doing a bad job. It wasn't them. The wood was so slippery and greasy that when you tried to spray on it, it would pop off. So we had to prime the wood
Hmm.
and actually get that waxy coating off so the foam would stick.
So it could stick. Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that as much as you used to, but there's still issues out there.
Hmm.
Like the building science and learning about the chemistry of the foam, before you start manufacturing the foam or spraying, you really have to understand that and what's going on
Right.
and pick the right piece of spray. Some people might think I'm just talking a bunch of bull crap, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, there's so many factors. It is just, it's a lot more than people realize, I think. And it's, there's so many outside factors that, can make or break a job too. So yeah,
You have a narrow band between the cold and the hot and the wet and the dry.
Mhm.
It's a space between it. You have to, that's one of the things that when you're laying that stuff down, you have to know that. You don't want to go out spraying and it's raining outside, mist blowing in on what you're doing because it'll cause you problems.
Right. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. What would you say would be your favorite part of this industry? Like, what is the thing that really makes you so passionate about this, George? Because I know you said you're so passionate about this industry. So what is it that is the thing that makes you that passionate?
Talking out and going home. You know?
Honestly, it's what I really enjoy doing is teaching the people that don't understand how to spray
Mhm.
and trying to advance this industry into the future. You know, and taking time and really showing, like I said, people how to spray.
I'm making me keep my mouth shut. So.
Yeah, and looking forward to retirement.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I really enjoy working with people. I really do.
So what's your problem with me then?
I don't know. I haven't figured that one out. But other than that, I don't really know what to hit it on the head. It's just, you know, I'm an artist. I like to spray.
Hmm.
I just wish I could do it more.
Hmm.
And,
Well,
you
you're
know,
a professor at it.
yeah,
All these young kids that are going out there and starting their business, you know, you feel good when you show them how to do it and,
Yeah.
and help them out.
Yeah.
The problem is trying to identify who's listening and who ain't.
yeah,
Because
Right.
you can spend 5 hours with somebody, 2 hours later they're calling and going, hey, what did you say about this?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, with this technology nowadays, you should have been filming what he was saying or something.
Right.
and I do get a lot of people that video
Hmm.
the whole training. It'll be 8, 10 hours, and
And you feel good about that.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
Can back okay.
you know,
You know.
and I still get the phone calls an hour, 2 hours later. I don't remember. Well,
Yeah.
you videotape is in this portion of the videotape because I remember what I said throughout the day,
Right.
just about that. You know, and it's kind of funny. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So,
And
Tim Stratton said some OSB has that wax coating. If they put it on the wrong side up, it ain't good.
yes, that's right, and he's right. Oh, that's the biggest nightmare right there. If that OSB has got that waxy coating on there, I've had to prime roof decks because of that.
Yeah, Steve Gould is saying that too. In roofing, it's even more critical to understand the substrate.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So I agree with him 100%.
And get their numbers, and when people call us, we'll have them call in.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that I want a lot of people to know too is that, you know, I try to have a little bit of a life, but, you know, when people call my company, I usually answer the phone
Hmm.
24/7. You know, I've had calls up as late as midnight before talking to people because I know they go out and spray.
Hmm.
Part of my passion with this is not to leave people hanging out there. And if I don't get back to you, it's 9 times out of 10 is because I'm already on the phone with somebody else,
Right.
or I'm at least sleeping, trying to.
Trying to.
After dinner, and he'll get his $50 seafood plate delivered, then he's outside talking for 2 hours, so I'm picking off his plate. You know?
Yeah. You don't need to order anything. You can just eat his.
Yeah, there'll be a phone call. I'll just go ahead and eat right away.
And it happens all the time. It's just unbelievable. And, you know, and I try to make myself available as much as I can for anybody that wants to, you know, ask questions and stuff like that. I don't claim to know it all, and I don't.
Hmm.
Oh, but I've been around the block long enough to help people get in the right direction.
Right. So what do you do? Because we did touch on this yesterday, was about talking about getting burnt out. Because if you don't take some downtime, that's what's going to happen. So
It's that old saying, all work and no play makes you a dull boy.
that's
You know?
right.
I take some downtime now that I met this guy here, and he's helping me build a drag car and kind of giving me the direction. So my release is the day that I can get behind the wheel. You know, yeah, and that's how I release some of my energy. And at the end of the month, I'm actually taking a week's vacation. I have an off-road truck that I'm going to go play in the mud with.
Oh, good.
So I do find some time to get away from the madness.
Yeah.
But it still drives me nuts because I'm so passionate about it that I sometimes can't wait to get back to it.
it's hard to take that downtime, isn't it? Because when you are like when you are passionate about something, it's hard. Taking that break is almost like it's almost a little bit of torture because it's you want to be doing that so badly, and yet you need to have that time off too to regroup and refuel.
He told me that when I don't have my work phone because I'm taking time off, he said I feel naked.
Yes, that's right. I bet.
You know, and I love, you know, so yep. You know,
So
that's passion he has with it.
yeah, what kind of a car are you building? You said you're building a drag car.
Yeah, I'm building a 1989 Fox Body Mustang.
Ah,
Um, we're calling it the bottomless pit.
Yeah.
isn't that like that's the truth right there with cars?
Yeah, cubic dollars. Cubic dollars, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm taking some of Wayne's knowledge from building, you know, his car's famous. It's the gold car that, you know, shows up and used to appear on the Street Outlaws. So he's very knowledgeable in how to build all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking that information from him and learning how to build the car. And I'm sort of a fabricator. I like doing things myself.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm not paying somebody to build this car. I'm building it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's some good people out there that are actually helping me right along with it. A lot of good people. And I think once my car is done, I'm going to write a dedication on the side of it with all the people that's helped me out with parts and pieces and, you know, gave me some of the knowledge. But Wayne's been right there on the top of that list of helping me out with a lot of stuff and getting this rolling. I'm not sure if I'll be out on the circuit next year, but I'll be there. And
So if you see the side of his car and it says "Thanks, butthole," he's talking about me.
you know,
um, so is this project? Did you just start it, or has it been going for a little while?
I started probably, I'm going to say just about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've been gathering parts and working on it when I've been home and time that I do have time, I'll get out there and wrench on it for a while and build a bunch of different things, and do some welding and all kinds of stuff, you know. And Wayne's actually got a motor for me, so once I get the car and the chassis all set up and ready to go, we're gonna drop a motor in it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
and him
I
are
had a
definitely.
I had a neighbor who was very much into older cars and fixing them up, and every used to be on Saturdays or Sundays, there all of a sudden the back alley would be filled with all these older cars that they would all get together and of course have a few beer and like tinker with their cars. It was interesting to like see that process happen. It was they loved it so much, so passionate about it.
People doing that. You know, there's a lot of good people out there.
A lot of good people, yeah, for sure. And
Maybe.
I think it's, I've been posting this week a little bit too about like we need to start getting people more interested in the trades, and that's where it's a little bit scary to know that kids, maybe unless they're raised in that environment,
Well,
they're not going that way, and they need to, because we need those people.
They're all caught up on their tablets and their iPhones. And all.
Yeah.
You know, when we were kids, we were outside riding the bike. I knew where my friends were because I could drive my bike down the street and see all the bikes sitting there, and I knew they were all there.
Right.
And we were doing things. You know, nowadays they don't want to do that.
No.
They don't want to go out and,
Yeah.
and work, make a living. They want to sit behind a desk and do a computer thing all day. You can only do so much of that.
Yeah.
and that's what I want to see the spray foam industry go into, is that it's like a brotherly love. You know, I'm a retired critical care firefighter. I've done that for a long time. I was volunteer in New York, and I served for quite a while. And we all have a brotherly union. You know, we're kind of united all the way across.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you have a brother that's a firefighter. We all stick together. And I think spray foam guys need to be that way too. You know,
Yeah.
I know there's competition with each other, but you know what? We all got to stand with each other. This is an industry that stands alone.
Yes.
And I really believe it. It's like drag racing. These guys all get together. One guy's car breaks down, but they're all working together, trying to help each other out. Except for when you get up on that line, now it's one man against the other one.
Right.
One car against the other. But as soon as one guy damages something, they're right there in the pits helping each other out.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that spray foam should be.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when one guy's down, we should be there to help each other out, not backstab and say, hey, dude, you did this. Come on, let's figure out what you did wrong. Let's straighten this out. Maybe it's not something you did. Maybe it's the manufacturer.
We found that some people will give a bad advice to other people.
Yeah.
Make them look bad. It's not good. You don't need to do that.
No, you don't. There's no reason for it. It's, we should be a united front right across and take care of each other.
Right.
And that's what needs.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's, I think the sooner people understand that, of course, there's competition, but you can be in competition, but you can still be friendly with each other.
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody has to be the dire enemy, and, like, you can't speak to that person because they're your competitor. It shouldn't be that way. There's enough business to go around for everybody.
Yeah, more than enough. Exactly. I mean, I remember one time, this is back when I was in business spraying, that one of my competitors actually misbid a job that would lost him thousands of dollars. I called him up and told him, I said, you misbid this job.
Yeah.
Oh, he called me every SOB in the book and really didn't like me. Oh, yeah, he was very nasty towards me. I said, look, I'm not trying to tell you anything. You made a mistake or somebody made double check your bid.
Yeah.
That's all I'm telling you. Because if you're going to do this, you're going to lose because it was wrong.
Yeah.
He calls me back and actually apologized. He got the bid from me, and he apologized to me for being so nasty. He's like, why would you do that? We're competitors. It doesn't matter. If I don't have time to do a job and you can do it, I'll refer you.
Yeah.
The way business is nowadays, it's cutthroat.
Yeah, there's no charity.
All right, back in the old days when I was doing this, if I had 10 contractors, guess what? Those 10 contractors were loyal to me. It didn't matter. You could go put a bid in. They weren't going to go with you because they were happy with what I did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not that way. There's no loyalty. Cutthroat. It's cutthroat. The cheapest guy that comes in gets it. Well, we got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You get back to being loyal.
Have some standards.
Yeah, have some standards amongst each other and go out, well, you know what? If this guy's charging, $10,000 to do this job, there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it $8,000, okay, and then something goes wrong with your machine and you can't fix it because you did it just to get the job. It doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
you cut yourself short. You cut yourself way too short. Or you made a mistake in your bid. Double check your bid.
Right.
There's a lot to learn there. And
see, that's the thing. It's not just spraying the product.
Mm-hmm.
The bidding's got to be done right. There's a whole slew of things that have to fall into place for you to make them win.
Right.
And what really sucks, and I don't like this with the builders will take somebody else's bid, manipulate it, and turn around and show it to another guy, show it less, so that guy goes lower to actually beat this guy out, but yet it wasn't the original bid.
Mm-hmm.
It was now because of the computers, the way you can change things.
Yeah.
I've already seen it in my office. I've had guys bring in a bid from somebody else or where they're buying spray foam from and saying, I can get it at this price. And all he did was take the Adobe rewriter, change the bid around a little bit and brought it in to show me something cheaper that I knew didn't exist because they didn't realize that I could call the supplier and talk to them and say, wait a minute, is this true?
Mm-hmm.
And each one of the other competitors in this business, some of us are friends. We can talk back amongst each other.
Yeah.
That's like, no, I didn't give him that price. I gave him this price. And I thought so.
Yeah.
And then, so there's some shady stuff that goes on out there that's not fair.
Right.
But I guess that's part of business. I don't know.
Well, and I think too, I honestly think that with, you see now people like, I'll use Kent and Blair as an example. You've got, competitors are now sending their swag to their competitor and they're posting pictures of it. I think that's great because it's showing that you can get along, but you still are competitors. It's completely fine. And I think that is going to start changing, and it already has, I think, with worldwide, and just people being more open to realizing they're not the enemy. They're in business. Everybody's in business to make money. So we can all do it.
Yep.
It's a science, and if you do it by science, the bids will be within $100 to $200.
Right.
So but when you try to cut each other's throat, man, it goes bad.
It goes wrong. Yeah, it goes south pretty quick for sure.
And what's really funny is that all these competitors that we have out there in selling equipment, you know, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all trying to get these people educated. You know, we all sell the same equipment. I mean, like I said, I sell Graco, I sell PMC,
Mm-hmm.
I sell home product, we sell IPM, we sell, you know, different types of foam here. I may be in competition with them, but we're all doing the same. You know, I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody else, and never will.
Right.
There's no reason for it. You know, it's like, well, if you think you can get a better price, go for it. What I don't like is when people go out and find the cheaper product out there that's not even represented properly, and they start putting their guns together with cheaper O-rings that aren't the right O-rings,
Mm-hmm.
and then it works for a couple seconds or a few minutes, and then they blame the gun, and it's not the gun. It's the products that they bought because they went and used some inferior O-ring somewhere.
Right.
That was the proper one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then blame the gun, and it's not the gun. 90% of all problems out there, most spray foam guys right now are self-inflicted problems.
Right.
$10 O-ring, they're buying a $3 O-ring. The reason it's $10 O-ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but
Chaz Costa is saying happens every day in Boston. Over 100 spray foam contractors working in the same area. Holy smokes. You know it's bad when foam companies are only doing jobs for 10% profit.
Yeah.
that is bad because they can't even fix their rigs if something goes
Yeah,
down.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know, and I think probably in every industry you have those people who think that they can do that and they're going to get away with it, but eventually, and they might do it for a little while, but eventually that comes back and bites them for sure.
everything that's done in the dark will eventually come to the light.
That's right. That's 100% right. Yes, it is. All right. Well, you guys, we've been on here for about an hour already, so I think I'll let you guys get back to your Saturday.
I'm not
There you go.
I'm so glad you came on, George. It was a pleasure having you on, and we got through the technical difficulty. And Wayne, it was very nice for you to be on as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank
We'll put some links in the bottom so people can find you guys. And yeah, we will thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you guys all next Saturday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.